Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is our third video we've been sharing on how to become an international medical laboratory technologist, and today we will continue with the same. And today I'm going to cover on two things. One is the ASCP and the second is the education evaluation. When you're beginning your process, this is the first step that you should be able to achieve, that is have a license and a certificate that will allow you to get job in the USA. And how you get the license is by doing a licensing exam known as the ASCP exam. ASCP stands for American Society for Clinical Pathology. It's done by all students who have studied medical laboratory sciences, for them to gain a license and a certificate to enable them to practice in the United States. And for you to do the ASCP exam, you have to first create an account with the ASCP board. So you just go to Google and type www.ascp.org. that is their website, and you'll get an option that will allow you to create an account with them. When creating an account with them, they are going to ask for some few things. First thing they're going to ask about is your personal information, like your name, your date of birth. One thing I would advise you, when you're filling up the information, just make sure you follow your birth certificate. The name as it appears on the birth certificate, your date of birth, just make sure they match with the information that you're going to provide the ASCP with. Something else they ask about is your education background, the name of the college that you went to, the year that you graduated. They're gonna ask that, and the address of the college. So you can get the address of the college on the college website. The year, the month, and the date of graduation, it's on your certificate, the certificate that you are issued with by your college after you graduated. So make sure you fill in the right information. Another thing they ask for is for your addresses. They ask for two addresses. One is the billing address and the other one is the shipping address. I'm going to insist on the shipping address. Just use an address that is valid, an address that you can rely on, because once you do and pass your exam, they're going to send you your certificate through that address. So make sure you give an address that is valid, an address that you can be able to get your certificate from. Personally, after I did and passed my exam, I had given an address, but it wasn't, I didn't take the address bit seriously, and so the address that I gave turned out to be an invalid address, and so my certificate got lost, and I had to pay for a shipping fee for them to send me another certificate. So just take note on the addresses and give an address that is reliable. So another thing you would want to know when creating your account, they're gonna ask you about the route of the exam that you want to do. So the ASCP route is determined by the number of experience or the years of experience that you have. For instance, if you're a fresh graduate and on your attachment or internship, you qualify to do an exam under Route 1. If you're a graduate with 2-3 years of experience, you qualify to do an exam under Route 2. So on their website still, you'll find a document that explains about every route, the requirements that are needed for every route. So check out on the route that you fall on, and when filling in the information, just make sure you choose on the right route. When you choose the wrong route, remember they're asking for your year of graduation, your workplace information, and don't choose the route that is contradicting to what you'll have filled when creating your account, because if you do, they're gonna need you to pay for the exam afresh. They are not going to refund your first payment. You're going to pay for it afresh, and this exam costs 75 US dollars. That's not little money. It's quite expensive, but it's $75, actually a subsidized price for some countries. Kenya is one of them. Some pay for $200 to do the exam, but for us it's $75. So another thing they will need for you to upload, there are 2 documents that you need to upload towards the end of your account creation. One is your experience documentation, and second is your letter of authenticity. Where experience documentation is a form that you will have to fill, and it's also filled by your supervisor. There is your part and your supervisor's part. You have to fill on the departments that you rotate in, and your supervisor has to certify that whatever you have filled in that form is true. And your supervisor also have to write a letter of authenticity to authenticate that whatever you have filled in the experience documentation is not a lie. So you get the experience documentation form on the ASCP website. Just check on which one you will need, because the experience documentation comes according to the route that you fall on. So don't download the wrong route, experience documentation for the wrong route. The route that you fit in when creating the account, just make sure that you download the same experience documentation route, fill, sign, give it to your supervisor to fill and sign, and it must be accompanied by the letter of authenticity. Also on the website you can get a sample letter of authenticity. It's just a simple letter. It's to certify that whatever you filled in the experience documentation is true. And after you've filled in all your information, attached the required documents, you can now proceed to make payments for your exam. They accept debit card and credit card or check. You can pay for the exam. It's $75. If you're, let's say, in Africa, $200 if you're in the USA, but they're gonna give you the amount that you're required to pay when you're creating the account. And after you've paid for your exam, it doesn't mean you're going to sit for the exam the following week or the following month, because you first of all have to get an education evaluation report sent to the ASCP board for them to deem you competent to proceed and do your exam. And so how do you get your education evaluated? So there are quite a number of organizations that can help you with that. You, again, on the ASCP website, there is a list on the acceptable organizations that can help you get your education evaluated. Reason as to why your education is being evaluated is to make sure that the kind of education you got from your home country is similar to the kind of education they offer in the USA. So there are quite a number of organizations that can help you do that. And I'm going to just tell you points that you should consider before searching for one of the organization. Number one thing that you need to consider is the price. Different companies or organization will charge differently for the service, and so just go to their website. I'm going to attach the list of those organizations in my description. You can check them out. Go to their website and confirm the pricing. It's different for each. Second thing you would want to consider is the turnaround time. The time they are going to take for them to complete going through your academic documents. Some will take days, others will take weeks, others will take months. So depending on when you want to sit for the exam, you can choose one that will suit your time length. And the third point is how you should send your document to them. Some require you to email your documents to them, original documents. Others will need you to mail using the international couriers. You mail your original documents to them, they will go check on them, and they will send them back to you once they are through with the process. That's an additional cost for you to send your documents physically to them. For instance, sending the documents via DHL could be around 5,000 to 6,000 Kenyan shillings. So the pricing, you might want to consider one that will allow you to send your documents via email, since it's easier, it's cheaper to just send them via email. And after you've now come up with the organization that you feel will suit you, you need to make sure that you have the documents that they need for them to assist you. Number one, you need to have your college certificate, a hard copy, an original copy, your college transcripts, and your ASCP ID. Your ASCP ID, remember we start by creating an ASCPI account, and so when you're creating the account, they are gonna give you a ASCP ID, a ASCP username, and you're also gonna set a password. So those are 3 things that you would want to remember about your ASCP account. And so after you have all those documents and you have already identified the body that you want to work with, you'll just go to their website and create an account with them. This account will be able to let you make an order of the service that you want. So something that I would want to highlight: when doing the education evaluation, you have to do a course by course evaluation. So make sure you choose on the course by course evaluation, fill in the other parts that they will ask on the information that they will ask on their website, and make the payments. After you make the payments, send your documents to them. They're gonna give you they are going to alert you when they get the documents, and when they get the payments, they are even going to send you a receipt via email. So after they do that, you're gonna give them some time. They will also tell you how long it will take for them to complete your process. Another thing, when you're filling out on your account, when you're creating an account, there is a place they will ask you who you would want them to share your report with. So when filling that place, don't forget to select one of the recipients as the ASCP board, because remember, your purpose of doing this evaluation is so that the ASCP can be able to clear you and sit for your international exam. So make sure you request them to send the report to ASCP, because even if they send the report directly to you and you decide to send the report directly to ASCPI via email, they are not going to accept the report. they will only accept the report sent by the body that is evaluating your education. So don't forget that. In case you forget and decide to tell them later, I'm sure it's going to be on an extra charge. So don't forget about that. And so after you have created your ASCP account, you have your education evaluated. Once the report is done, it's going to be sent to ASCP, and you'll also get a copy, maybe via email or a physical copy. Once ASCP gets your copy, they will alert you that they have received all your documentation, and they will go ahead, go through the documentation, the ones that you attached, experience documentation, your data of authenticity, the information that they were asking for when you're creating your account, and they're gonna go through it and make sure that it's clear information, or the information adds up. And that's the only time they're going to give you a go ahead for you to do the exam. So how long does this take? For the ASCP, it takes 2 weeks to 45 business days for them to go through your documents and make sure that they are okay, so that they can now clear you to go and do the ASCP exam. And once the 45 days are over, they are going to update it on your ASCP account, and they are also going to notify you via email. The message goes like, congratulations, you're eligible to sit for the ASCP exam. So once they send you that, it's gonna be followed by an email that has a link on the exam center that you're going to sit for the exam. For labtechs, we are lucky because most countries have a Pearson VUE center where you can be able to sit for your exam. So you'll go on the link, click on the Pearson VUE link, and you'll get to be able to book your exam date, your exam venue, and the time that you'll be comfortable with to do the exam. Now after you're eligible, the ASCP gives you 3 months for you to sit for the exam. So I would advise, when you create the ASCP account and start on your education evaluation, just start your revision immediately. Don't wait until they send you the Pearson VUE link and start your revision. It's a massive revision, and for you to be able to pass in the exam, just use each and every opportunity that you get to start your revision. Add enough so that you can get enough time. The 3 months that they give you is not a lot of time, depending on the length of the areas that they will test on. It's all lab departments except for histology, and so most of us are working and we cannot get leave for the 3 months. So immediately you just think of starting this process, just start on your revision from there, so that by the time the exam is coming by, you'll already be prepared for it. And so I'm going to share on some of the materials that you can use for your revision, some that I used and found helpful. And one of them is called a LabCE. LabCE is a website also. Let me say it's a website that has some courses and some questions. Personally, I subscribed on the question part. There are a lot of questions, unlimited questions. I can't remember how much the subscription was, around $70 to $90, but I'm not sure. But they display the pricing on their website. I'm going to also give you the website on my description so that you can go and check on it. Good thing with the LabCE, you can subscribe to it as a group or as an individual if you want to, but if you want to cost share, you can also do it as a group. Another tool that I use for my revision is the ASCP preparation materials. On the ASCP website, they also offer you revision materials for the exam, but it's not for free. You also have to subscribe, pay a certain fee so that you can be able to access them. They were also helpful in the revision of the exam. Another tool that I used is a quick review cards, known as quick review cards by Valerie Polanski. I'm also going to give you the name on the description. You can check on it. And another book that I used is Clinical Laboratory Science Review, a Bottom Line Approach by Patsy and quite a number other auditors. So there are a lot of revision materials out there. I personally used the 4 and I found them more helpful. The most important thing to do with the exam, I think it really doesn't matter which book you're reading. What matters is you just read in between the lines of the books. Remember, the questions are multiple choice questions, and at times the answers can be really close to each other. And just be sure to read in between the lines so that the answers don't confuse you and you get to answer the questions correctly. So another thing you need to note about the exam, it's a multiple choice questions, 100 questions. The exam time is 2 hours and 30 minutes. You can take a break in between, but the timer won't stop for you to come back. It will still be counting. So I would advise you, before you enter the exam, just make sure you don't need that break, because you need each and every second of the 2 hours 30 minutes. Another advice I would give you about the exam, you know, when you do the exam, get to the last question, the exam or the computer, it's a computerized exam. It's going to give you the chance to go back and review your answers. I would advise you can review the answers, but please don't change your answers. At times, the first choice is always the right choice that you have made, but once you decide to go back and change the answer, you might be doing the wrong thing, unless you're very sure that you answered the question wrongly and you really need to rectify. And another thing, the exam, once you're done with your exam and click on the finish button, you're going to get your results, your preliminary results on your screen. You're gonna be notified whether you failed or you passed. Just gonna appear pass or failed. It's an intense moment. I remember when I was doing the exam, I was even unable to click on the finish button, and I almost called the supervisor to come and just click it for me. But again, take all your time, prepare. They are gonna ask on all departments, that is hematology, microbiology, blood transfusion, immunology, lab operations, urinalysis and body fluids. I'll also try and link the areas that they will test on, but you can get it on the ASCP website. They have outlined them for you correctly, the areas that they're gonna test on and the percentage of the questions that will come from that area. For instance, microbiology, hematology, clinical chemistry and blood transfusions, you'll get 17 to 22% of the questions coming from there. And those are the 4 major units, and you maybe wanna read more of them. Another thing about the ASCP exam, you all get to do your own exam. It's not like the national exams. For instance, here in Kenya, when we're doing the board exam, we are all given one exam for all labtechs who maybe applied for the exam at a certain time. For the ASCP, it's different. You're tested depending on your capabilities. If you can only answer simple questions, they are just going to give you simple questions. But remember, simple questions carry less marks, and you stand a chance to just fail the exam by just filling the simple questions. Remember, the pass mark is 400. Simple questions can be maybe 1 mark, 2 marks, 3, 4, 5. And so you want to measure in your revision again and make sure that you're capable of answering the difficult questions, because you don't need a lot of difficult questions to pass your exam. Difficult questions, I believe, have 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 marks. So you'll need less of the difficult questions for you to pass the exam. And if you're capable of answering the difficult questions, again, they are going to bring difficult questions concurrently. Once you fail one of the difficult questions, they are going to lower the level of the question. If it was a level 10 marks question, they're going to go to a 9 marks question until you get it right, and then they raise the difficult level of the question. So that is how the ASCP exam appears. You do your own exam, you're tested according to your capability. So just take time as you revise, read in between the lines, revise, use the questions. The LabC is a good site where you can get a lot of questions. Actually, the LabC will give you 100 questions. They will allow you to time yourself for the 2.5 hours, and they will give you the percentage that you have scored in those questions. And once you become perfect in answering the questions, your marks will go on rising and rising. And they also give statistics on those who have used the LabCE, maybe scored 60%. They tabulate the number of people who scored certain marks with the LabCE and how they did on their ASCP. So it's also a good place that you can use to evaluate yourself. However, there are a lot of revision materials. You can check them online, the books, you can get them on Amazon. You can talk to friends who have done the exams before and ask them what materials they use for the revision, and also use the ASCP materials that are available on the ASCP website. And so I wish you all the best when you're planning to do your ASCP exam. We all can do it. It's not a difficult exam if you take your time and do good revision for it. Remember, this is an exam that is giving you a lifetime opportunity. So invest all your energy on it. Invest all your available time on it. Remember, you've paid for it. It's not a cheap exam. Even if you get an agency and they decide to pay it for you, it's not a cheap exam, and you don't want to disappoint yourself, disappoint the agency who will have invested the paying of the exam, maybe in purchasing of the revision materials for you. So use that opportunity. It comes once in a lifetime. Make sure you do your best, and you're going to make it. If we have done it, then I believe you also can do it. In case there is anyone else who have done the exam, maybe they can also share on the revision materials they used for the exam, so that those who are aspiring to do the exam in future can also get to use whatever they used. So I'm going to put the revision materials that I personally used on my description box. You can check them out. So that's all for today. The ASCP and education evaluation, those are the first steps that you need to start for you to become an international medical laboratory technologist. And I hope you'll find the video educative, informative, and helpful. And I look forward to creating more videos that will enlighten those medical laboratory technologists from various countries who are aspiring to become international medical laboratory technologists. So if you find the video helpful, just subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my video, share to a lab tech that you know and want them to grow their career. And together we are going to level up as medical laboratory technologists. So just keep checking out for more videos, and thank you.